See, this is the reason why CW is starting to die out. You know, you can tout that Superman and Lois has been very, very good. The last couple episodes, I'm questioning just a little bit, but hey, listen, it looks like it's going in the right direction. So I hopefully we'll see a season finale that would be good. I'm worried about season 2 because the way they've been treating all these superheroes on this series, the way they've treated Black Lightning, the way Legends, Arrow, Batwoman, Supergirl. CW had a chance to have a great series, great TV series. And the one they didn't want to pull the trigger on, Swamp Thing, which basically a lot of people have been watching since it got switched over to the CW app. They didn't want to go forward with another season of it, which was ridiculous. But meanwhile, every episode throughout all these series have been, horrendously bad. The finale of Flash, here, let's talk about Flash for a little bit. Flash itself, come on, really, a lightsaber battle. You have a lightning battle that looks, people have put Duel of the Fates and lightsaber sounds in the video footage. How crazy can you sit there and say, well, let's have a lightsaber duel between all the Flashes, between Godspeed, Reverse Flash, and Flash? See, this is the reason why these things are not working, is because you're moving away from the actual Flash stories. And this has been happening. And this is the same thing with everything else that's been put out. Black Lightning, what did it turn into? The Black Lightning family. So you should have touted it as the Black Lightning family and not just being Black Lightning. Legends of Tomorrow, you kept changing it and changing it and changing it and changing it. And, and you're going in so many crazy directions. Characters come and go quickly on there. You practically just, you've messed up the whole thing. Supergirl, you at first, as soon as you got it from CBS, you had some promise. Then you started making changes and this and that, costume changes, changing, making characters gay. It's it's like, oh my God, people didn't want to see that. That's not what they wanted to see. And then Arrow was like repeated, backstories that kept going flashback. People got tired of the flashbacks, and the way the story was going. It was just getting ridiculous on there. And let's not get into Batwoman and how stupid this series is. And I still said to this day, if you wanted a proper Batwoman series, you needed to do like the animated series Mystery of the Batwoman. 3 of them, and it would have worked. Believe me, it would have worked with the correct writing. But guess what? What do we have in all these series? All we have are basically political hacks. They're radical writers. We've already seen the demise of He-Man. The He-Man, well, it's not really He-Man. It's Teela and the Masters of the Universe. You've seen what that's been going like that. They've been trying to fight to freaking do damage control on that alone. That angered everybody. Of all, whether it was Star Wars, whether it was DC, whether it's Marvel, the biggest anger now has come from the He-Man fans. When your fans tell you this is not the direction to go in, you should listen to them. Don't listen to the 10 people on Twitter or that one writer who says, well, I've been a fan for a long time, and they either lied or they're just another political activist. Because that's what's happened. You've got activists that have gone into here. And the Flash, you're talking ratings that have been dropping. Flash used to have million in viewers. And just this past season has been fluctuating. The season finale itself is 0.721. And it started out with a 0.998. It should have been at that same point at the end of the series, but it's not. The season average is a 0.821, and that's a minus in their column. You have a 35% viewer change, and the demo change is about almost 52%. That's horrendous. I mean, just to show you on there, you had another series called Dead Pixels, which aired their second season. They started with a 0.0. 0.0. You know, it used to be a time period where the ratings just give you a 0.1 just for the hell of it. For the hell of it. Now it's like, you know, you can't really put out a 0.1 when it's not a 0.1. When you only have under 200,000 people watching. That's nothing. That's nothing to the sponsors. You know, you tell the sponsors, oh, we just only had about 200,000 people watch. Oh, how's that going to help sell my product? You know, people say that the advertisers continue to put money into this, and this is why the shows go. You know, the advertisers need to start pulling out. They got to get smart, like some of the merchandise makers. Some of the merchandise, you know, look what they did to the CBS. A lot of them pulled out, and they said, we're not going to fund your shows. We're not going to fund your Star Trek for this reason. You know, you don't know what you're doing. You know, the stuff sits on the shelf. You have Doctor Who stuff sitting on the shelf. You know, you've got Star Trek stuff that's not even being manufactured. I mean, and Star Wars stuff that just basically whatever they made for the Jedi and stuff like that, whatever's out there isn't selling, and everything else is not being made. It's not being manufactured. The older stuff, Jar Jar Binks sells better than a lot of the newer stuff from the new Star Wars, and he's one of the hated. He's one of the hated. It's amazing. It's amazing that this network can continue. I mean, we discussed this on Saturday Pre-Flight. You know, these networks come and go. These independent networks, they come and go. UPN, WB, CW is going to be the next one on the chopping block, because most of their shows on the average, I think maybe they have 3 shows to tout that are in the million range. Everything else is below 600,000 views, mostly in the 400,000. How do you run a network that way? How do you sell your network that way? I mean, it is ridiculous, you know. And the streaming sites alone, they're cropping up this stuff, popping it on there, and you know, it's still sitting there. People don't want to watch these, and the way they've treated some of the characters on this, you know. Hey, listen, if someone did something wrong years ago, that was years ago. Unless they murdered somebody, you know, or raped them, and you have proof of the rape and stuff like that. If they said some things derogatory, hey, listen, tons of people have said things derogatory. We can go down the list of stuff, you know, back to the early 2000s, to the 90s, to the 80s. Trust me, there's plenty of it out there, and a lot of it not on social media. Stuff that is on there. There's, you know, says, you know, locker talk. Yeah, there's locker talk on both ends. Both ends, the ladies and the gentlemen. Trust me on that. I've been around long enough to know. You know, and so is a lot of other people. And these are the people that talk out, that they talk out like me. And it says, listen, you know, if he said this on there and he apologized, let it go. That's it. Move on. Bye. But stop listening to the 10 people on Twitter. This is the danger that's on there. You already saw, okay, here is one situation. This is a true story. There was a man who died because of a swatting, because somebody wanted his Twitter handle. I think it was either his Twitter handle or his Instagram handle. They swatted him because they wanted his handle on the site. How stupid is that? How really stupid is that? How low can you go? This is where we have to change some of our laws. But I'll tell you, next season on Flash, it's not going to do. I mean, I have to say, where are the rogues? Where are the rogues gallery of Flash on there? You know, you have Captain Cold is dead because you turned him into a good guy and he sacrificed himself. Heat Wave turned good and he's on Legends. Boomerang disappeared. The Trickster, we didn't have a proper Trickster in this universe. He was from an alternate universe, really. And the one that they used was a younger Trickster, the son of the Trickster. We didn't get a real Trickster. Even though they got Mark Hamill to do it, but we didn't really get a proper Trickster. And then Mirror Master, they turned into a woman. I mean, you can't say any more to this. You can't say any more. And Grog, where's Grog? Grog nowhere these days anymore. You have the situation where, have Flash fight a villain other than another speedster. And then what you did to the kids, you turned your grandkid into your son. And that's a different story itself because he's from a far future that was supposed to be, destroyed over and come back to save things. And then what do they do to the other Flash? Monastery. He didn't get enough screen time, and it's right. He didn't get enough screen time. Wally West didn't get enough screen time, and you freaking change and you race swapped. You race swap the Wests. Now the actors that are playing it out there are good actors. There's nothing wrong with their acting, but get the characters right. See, they're getting rid of all the redheads and the gingers and everything like that. Look at the new Batgirl. They put a Dominican girl in there. I'm Hispanic and I'm offended of what they did. When minorities tell you don't do this, don't change King Grayskull to black. Don't change Batgirl to Hispanic. Don't do it. Make new characters or bring characters off the shelf. There are of these minorities. You have a ton of characters that are sitting on shelves right now that they do not use. Because they say, well, they're not going to be popular. How do you know? Throw them out there. If they're written right, if you can get a correct writer, if you're doing a live action, if you can get a correct actor to play it, which you can, then do it that way. Stop destroying us. This is why anime and manga are killing the comic book industry. This is why. We talked about Dragon Ball coming out, new movie coming out, and Toriyama has made some changes, but changes to return them back to the way they looked before on a lot of the looks, which it looks good. This is why it is popular. You have series like this that are very popular, and people criticize it. Oh, they don't have anything for us and stuff like that. Bullshit. They do. Chuck Dixon told you that. There's something for everybody in the anime manga world. Always remember that. If you like sports, there's plenty of sports. There's a camping manga, where they just camp. A couple of girls camp. There are no monsters and nothing. They're just out camping. They're having fun. Fishing. They're going fishing. Soccer. They're playing soccer. Golf. They're playing golf. Football, baseball, basketball. There's a lot of these things that are out there and they work. But yet, this is what Hollywood, the comic book industry and all that, they throw their agendas into this. It's all political activism. Get rid of these activists. Get rid of the conscious kid out of here. Get rid of all these other companies and agencies that you've been talking to that says, no, you got to do it this way because basically it's because of racism and slavery and stuff like that. I'm sorry to tell you something. Everything they've told you is a blatant lie. Do you know how? Because there are very brilliant people in the world still. A man named Thomas Sowell. check his YouTube out and listen to what he talks about history, how things handle, how the mistakes that we are making now, because we allow these people to get into our lives. If we shut these people up, get rid of them off to the side, they'll go away. They'll cry and they'll yell and scream, and but they'll fade into the background. And maybe we'll get some good movies, good TV series, and maybe a new independent comic book industry will come out of this. So looks like we're coming to the end of the CW. So it could be soon or it could be later, but it's going to happen. So don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. Thank you very much for tuning in. Starting in August, we will be running some special videos, reviews, and stuff like that. But those have already been pre-taped ahead. So we will be, so basically some breaking news will probably happen on there, and we'll probably miss it. But we will be on vacation for about a couple of weeks. But also prepping for the new fall season for Man with the Show and Saturday Pre-Flight. But stay tuned. We got some good content coming out the next couple of weeks. Some stuff that, we start to talk about. Some reviews, some wish lists that we would like. Give you an example where I have one where we're discussing the anime Gate, that we should get another season of that. And why? Why is it so good that we enjoyed that? That's something that's coming up on there. So we'll see you in the fall. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and bye-bye now.